Welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to break down an important topic, 6 signs of a foolish woman. We'll learn how to distinguish wisdom from mistakes, understand which habits hold people back from growth, and, of course, explore this through the lens of Stoic philosophy. Why is this important? Because wisdom is not something you are born with. It's a skill that can be developed. Philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius taught that self-improvement is a path available to anyone. And let me say right away, if you recognize yourself in any of these points, don't panic. Instead, use this as a tool for growth and self-improvement. Sign number 1. Living by emotions, not by reason. What does this mean? A foolish woman makes important decisions based on emotions rather than logic. She is prone to anger, envy, resentment, and fear and easily loses self-control. In everyday life, this impulsiveness shows up in different ways. She might lash out at someone in a fit of rage and later regret it. She makes impulsive purchases, only to realize later that they were unnecessary. She quits jobs, friendships, or relationships in the heat of the moment, without thinking things through. This kind of person doesn't control their emotions control them. The Stoic perspective. Stoic philosophy teaches that a person must control their reactions instead of being ruled by them. Seneca once said, "Anger is a brief madness." Because when we get angry, we lose our ability to think clearly. We say and do things we later regret. Marcus Aurelius advised always asking yourself, will this matter a year from now? This simple question helps us avoid making foolish choices based on temporary emotions. Epictetus taught, "It is not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them." In other words, it's not the situation itself that triggers emotions, but the way we perceive it. For example, if your boss raises their voice at you, you could assume they hate you. Or, you could decide that they're just having a bad day and not take it personally. The choice is yours. How to fix it? Techniques for controlling emotions. The 10-second rule. When anger takes over, don't react immediately. Take a deep breath and slowly count to 10. This gives your brain time to switch gears and prevents impulsive actions. Emotion journal. Every day, write down, what emotions did you experience? What triggered them? Could you have responded differently? This helps identify emotional patterns and improve self-control. The detached observer technique. Imagine your situation is a scene in a movie. How would you analyze it as an outsider? This helps remove unnecessary drama from your perspective. Practice mindfulness. Developing self-control takes constant practice. Pay attention to your emotions, but don't let them take control of you. Conclusion. Impulsiveness is one of the biggest obstacles to wisdom. But as the Stoics taught, controlling your emotions is a skill that can be developed. The key is to become aware of your reactions, analyze them, and choose reason over momentary impulses. The next sign we'll discuss is the refusal to take responsibility for one's own life. Stay tuned. Sign number 2, always blaming others. What does this mean? One of the clearest signs of immaturity is the inability to take responsibility for one's own life. A foolish woman constantly blames others for her failures. I can't find love because all men are terrible. I'm not getting promoted because my boss doesn't appreciate me. I can't start a business because the government makes it impossible. In her world, everyone else is to blame, except her. She never asks herself, what could I have done differently? The Stoic perspective. The Stoics taught that we cannot control the outside world, but we are fully responsible for how we react to it. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for them to happen as they do, and you will be happy." This isn't about passivity. It's about accepting reality. If we spend our lives looking for someone to blame, we lose control over our own destiny. Example: 2 women lose their jobs. One blames the economy, her boss, and her coworkers. The other analyzes, what skills should I improve to become a more valuable professional? 2 women experience failed relationships. One blames her ex for everything. The other asks herself, what in my behavior contributed to this? The difference is clear. One lives in illusions. The other takes control of her life. How to fix it? Practices for taking responsibility. Replace blame with questions. Instead of asking, "Who is responsible for this?" ask yourself, "What can I do to improve the situation?" Struggling financially? Don't complain about the economy. Find new ways to earn money. Problems in relationships? Don't blame your partner. Think about what mistakes you might be making. Responsibility journal. At the end of each day, write down, "In what situations did I blame someone else today? What could I have done differently? What actions can I take to improve the situation?" Taking responsibility is the foundation of wisdom. When you stop looking for excuses and start looking for solutions, your life changes. Conclusion: a foolish person blames the world. A wise person takes responsibility and adapts. Remember, your life is in your hands. Next, we'll discuss another sign of foolishness: being obsessed with other people's opinions. Stay tuned. Sign number 3. Obsession with other people's opinions. What does this mean? A foolish woman is constantly dependent on external validation. Her self-worth is not based on her actual achievements or inner confidence, but on what others think of her. How does this show up in everyday life? Fear of judgment. She avoids doing anything that might not align with other people's expectations. Social media as a measure of success. If a post doesn't get enough likes, she feels unimportant. Seeking approval before making decisions. She won't take action unless someone reassures her it's the right thing to do. In short, she lives for the opinions of others, not for herself. The Stoic perspective. The Stoics taught that the opinions of others are outside our control and should not dictate our happiness. Marcus Aurelius said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but we care more about their opinions than our own." Think about that. Why do we let people, who don't even fully understand us, control our decisions and emotions? Epictetus also warned, "If you want to improve, be prepared to be ridiculed, mocked, and misunderstood." This means that personal growth requires the courage to ignore external opinions and focus on what truly matters. Real-life examples. Example 1. The woman who never chased her dreams. Emma always wanted to start her own business, but her friends and family kept telling her, "It's too risky. What if you fail? Just get a stable job like everyone else." Afraid of being judged, she never took the leap. Years later, she watches others succeed in entrepreneurship and feels deep regret. Example 2. The social media trap. Lisa spends hours curating the perfect Instagram posts. She checks her phone every few minutes to see how many likes she got. If a post doesn't get enough engagement, she feels ugly, unimportant, and anxious. She measures her self-worth in numbers, but the truth is, no number of likes will ever make her feel truly valuable. Example 3. The fear of standing out. Sophie is in a toxic relationship. She knows she should leave, but she's scared of what people will say. What will my parents think? Everyone will judge me. I don't want to look like a failure. So, instead of doing what's best for her, she stays trapped in an unhappy situation. How to fix it? Practices for breaking free from external validation. Practice the graveyard test. Ask yourself, if I were on my deathbed, would I regret making this decision based on what others thought? Most of the time, the answer is yes. Life is too short to live for others' expectations. The 3-year rule. If something is bothering you now, ask yourself, will this matter in 3 years? Will I even remember this moment? Most of the time, the opinions of others are temporary, but your missed opportunities last forever. Train yourself to be uncomfortable. Go to a restaurant alone. Wear something unusual and don't care what people think. Speak your opinion, even if people disagree. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the stronger you become. Remember, no one cares as much as you think. People are too busy worrying about their own lives to constantly judge you. And even if they do judge you for a moment, they'll forget about it by tomorrow. Conclusion. A foolish woman lives for other people's opinions. A wise woman lives for herself. If you want to be free, you must learn to stop caring about external validation and start making choices based on your own values. In the next lesson, we'll discuss another key mistake: the fear of change and personal growth. Stay tuned. Sign number 4. Fear of change and growth. What does this mean? A foolish woman fears stepping out of her comfort zone. She clings to what is familiar, avoiding challenges, risks, and personal growth. Instead of seeing change as an opportunity, she sees it as a threat. How does this show up in real life? She avoids new experiences, rejecting opportunities for career advancement, new relationships, or personal development because they seemed too hard or too uncertain. She sticks to toxic environments, staying in bad jobs, unhealthy relationships, or unfulfilling routines just because they feel familiar. She makes excuses, saying things like, "I'm too old to change," "It's too late for me," or "That's just the way I am." This mindset keeps her stagnant, while others move forward. The Stoic perspective. The Stoics believed that change is not only inevitable but essential for growth. Instead of fearing discomfort, they embraced it as a necessary part of becoming stronger and wiser. Epictetus said, "Difficulties show a person's true character. So when trouble comes, remember that you were training for this your whole life." Marcus Aurelius also wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that obstacles aren't problems, they are the path to success. Real-life examples. Example 1. The woman who never pursued her dream job. Anna always wanted to change careers, but she feared failing. She told herself, "I'm not good enough. I don't have enough experience. What if people think I'm making a mistake?" Years passed, and she stayed in the same unfulfilling job, watching others take risks and succeed. Now, she regrets never trying. Example 2. The relationship that should have ended. Sarah knew her relationship was toxic. Her partner was disrespectful and manipulative, but she told herself, "Maybe he will change. At least I'm not alone. I don't want to start over." Her fear of change kept her stuck in a miserable situation for years. When she finally left, she realized she had wasted precious time. Example 3. The woman who refused to adapt. Emily struggled to keep up with new technology in her workplace. Instead of learning, she complained, "I'm too old for this. I don't understand how this works. I wish things would go back to the way they were." Meanwhile, younger colleagues adapted, learned new skills, and moved ahead in their careers. Emily was left behind, simply because she resisted growth. How to overcome the fear of change? Understand that fear is normal. Every successful person has felt fear before making a big change. The difference is, they acted despite their fear. Fear is just a sign that you're about to grow. Apply the worst-case scenario test. Ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen? Can I survive it? Most of the time, the worst-case scenario isn't as bad as you imagine. And even if you fail, you will learn something valuable. Take small steps. Instead of overwhelming yourself with big changes, start small. Want to switch careers? Take an online course. Want to leave a bad relationship? Set boundaries first. Want to improve yourself? Read 10 pages of a book every day. Small actions lead to big transformations. Reframe failure as growth. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of success. Conclusion. A foolish woman fears change and stays stuck in the past. A wise woman embraces change as a path to growth. If you want to move forward in life, you must let go of fear and start taking action. In the next lesson, we'll discuss another major mistake: wasting time on gossip and judging others instead of focusing on personal development. Stay tuned. Sign number 5. Wasting time on gossip and judging others. What does this mean? A foolish woman spends more time discussing other people's lives than improving her own. Instead of working on her goals, she talks about others' mistakes instead of learning from her own. Criticizes people's choices but avoids making difficult choices herself. Gains pleasure from others' failures instead of building her own success. She believes she is better than others simply because she points out their flaws. But in reality, gossip is a distraction from self-improvement. The Stoic perspective. The Stoics believed that gossip and judgment are signs of a weak mind. A strong person focuses on self-discipline, wisdom, and personal growth. Seneca warned, Life is short. Do not waste it discussing the faults of others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always have a choice. Waste time judging others, or use that time to improve yourself." Wise people know that energy spent on gossip is energy stolen from their own progress. Real-life examples. Example 1. The office gossip queen. Jessica spends every lunch break discussing coworkers. "Did you see what she was wearing? I heard he's getting fired. She only got promoted because she's lucky." Instead of focusing on improving her own skills, she wastes time on useless talk. Years later, she's in the same position while others move ahead. Example 2. The woman who judges others instead of changing herself. Emma constantly criticizes people's life choices. "Why is she dating him? She should raise her kids differently. I would never act like that." Meanwhile, her own life is full of unresolved problems, but instead of fixing them, she distracts herself by judging others. Example 3. The friend who never supports you. Sarah tells her friend, "I'm thinking about starting a business." Instead of encouragement, the friend replies, "That's risky. Are you sure you can handle it? Most businesses fail. Maybe you should just get a stable job." This friend isn't wise. She's just projecting her own fears and failures onto others. How to stop wasting time on gossip and judgment. Shift the focus. Talk about ideas, not people. Instead of gossiping, discuss meaningful topics. Business ideas, philosophy, personal growth, health and fitness. Great minds discuss ideas. Weak minds discuss people. Practice the mirror test. Before judging someone, ask yourself, do I have this flaw too? Am I focusing on others to avoid my own problems? If the answer is yes, focus on fixing yourself first. Reduce time with gossipers. If your friends or coworkers gossip too much, change the subject or limit your time with them. Surround yourself with people who focus on success, not drama. Build a life that's too busy for gossip. The best way to avoid useless talk is to fill your life with meaningful work. Have clear goals. Learn new skills. Work on self-discipline. Create something valuable. When your life is full of purpose, you won't have time for gossip. Conclusion. A foolish woman wastes time discussing others. A wise woman invests time in improving herself. If you want to be successful, stop gossiping and start growing. In the next lesson, we'll discuss the final mistake, not learning from past experiences and repeating the same errors over and over again. Stay tuned. Sign number 6, not learning from mistakes. What does this mean? A foolish woman repeats the same mistakes over and over again. Instead of analyzing her past failures and growing from them, she blames bad luck, believing that life is unfair instead of recognizing her own role in her failures. Ignores life lessons, going through breakups, bad investments, or conflicts without learning anything. Refuses to change, making the same poor choices in relationships, finances, and personal growth. Mistakes are a natural part of life, but repeating them is a choice. The Stoic perspective. The Stoics taught that wisdom comes from experience and reflection. Every failure is an opportunity to grow, but only if we learn from it. Epictetus said, "Foolish people blame others. Average people blame themselves. Wise people learn and move forward." This means that instead of wasting time on guilt or regret, we should analyze our mistakes and improve. Real-life examples. Example 1. The woman who always chooses the wrong partner. Anna has had multiple failed relationships, but instead of reflecting, she keeps dating the same type of man. She tells herself, "All men are the same. I just have bad luck in love." In reality, she is ignoring red flags and refusing to learn from past experiences. Example 2. The financially irresponsible woman. Lisa constantly struggles with money. She spends impulsively, doesn't save, and ignores financial advice. When she ends up broke, she says, "Money just slips through my fingers. I'll start saving next month." But instead of making changes, she repeats the same bad habits, keeping herself stuck in financial stress. Example 3. The woman who never grows in her career. Sophie complains that she never gets promoted at work, but when she looks closer, she realizes she never takes extra initiative. She avoids learning new skills. She blames her boss instead of taking responsibility for her growth. A wise woman would ask, "What can I do differently? What skills do I need to develop?" Instead of staying stuck, she would adapt and grow. How to learn from mistakes. Take responsibility. Instead of saying, "Why does this always happen to me?" ask, "What did I do that contributed to this outcome?" Keep a failure journal. After every mistake, write down, "What happened? What could I have done differently? What will I do next time?" This builds self-awareness and prevents repeating the same errors. Ask trusted mentors, friends, or colleagues, "What do you think I could improve?" Sometimes, an outside perspective helps us see what we ignore. Apply the 1% rule. Every day, aim to be 1% better than yesterday. Small improvements over time lead to massive growth. Conclusion: a foolish woman ignores her mistakes. A wise woman learns from them and improves. If you want to succeed, start analyzing your past choices, making adjustments, and growing every day. If you recognized yourself in any of these signs, don't panic. Awareness is the first step to change. Every wise person was once foolish. The difference is, they chose to grow. Now, I have a small challenge for you. Share this video with someone who might need to hear this. Subscribe to the channel for more deep, thought-provoking content. Check out other videos on the channel. You'll find even more insights that will help you become wiser and stronger. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.